Hello. Wow, it's been a long time. Clearly, did not get dressed up for this live. This is going to be brief, and I'm just coming on because I have some information I want to share with you. Many of you may remember that, gosh, I think starting last year, I began to share information about a company that I learned about and that I actually invested in that would give you returns on your investment. And it was a cryptocurrency company called NovaTech. And so when someone told me about it and told me about her experience, I was like, oh, it was like, it sounded like almost, I wouldn't say too good to be true, but just, it made me curious. And so I checked, I listened to what she told me. I watched like some video, whatever, just some research and found out about it. And then I was like, okay, I'll try with a little bit of my own money. Hi, people, 3 people. It's so funny. I feel like I'm starting all over again. I remember back in the day, I was like, I have 1 person watching. I know I haven't been on for a long time, but I'm coming in quickly to share information with you guys. It's a little recap for those who may be joining, right? A little recap about this company called NovaTech that I invested with. And so then once I invested my own money and I found that I was getting returns every single week, I was like, wait a second, let me go ahead and share it with other people. And the reason I did that was because specifically at the time, a lot of people had been reaching out to me about real estate in the DR specifically, because, I'd been there and knew a lot about that, had done some work in real estate and still do actually help people find properties there and whatnot. So I was like, well, this could help people finance. I mean, it's not like you're not going to, unless you invest a whole bunch of money, you're not going to get a whole bunch back, but you never know. It could help. It certainly helped me for a while. And so, but I wanted to come on and give you guys an update about what's happening with the company, what's going on. If you did invest, you may be wondering like, well, what's happening? So here's the deal. In, I think maybe May of this year, it's been several months, NovaTech issued. Okay, yeah, so Chaz, I'm just seeing your comment. Right, so here's the deal. So the first part of what I heard was that Canada, right, because NovaTech was international, there were some countries that didn't allow, like still don't allow cryptocurrency trading, or certain platforms like Binance, you may know of, you can't really trade Binance from the US. And, so it depends on region and whatnot. But back in, I forget, the earlier part of this year, apparently Canada restricted all cryptocurrency trading in the country. That's my understanding. I'm not an expert in this, but that's my understanding. And NovaTech had thousands of Canadian customers. And so they had to suddenly pivot and return everybody's money from Canada who had invested in the platform. Well, this was a small company that was just started, not that long ago, a few years ago, and was growing rapidly. But for them to have to suddenly cash out all these people, my understanding was that it just put a huge stress on the company and on their platform, because they just weren't prepared to have to. It's like imagining, well, and this happened recently, not with Bank of America, but with some other banks, where people suddenly wanted all they call it a run on the bank, right? Where they want their money out immediately. Everybody in the bank wants all their money at once. Even if it were, let's say, a Bank of America, that would be difficult for them, because they use the money that we leave with them, that we deposit, to do other things, to make other investments and all that. And so if everybody at once suddenly says, well, we want our money back, they're going to have a problem. Even like a Bank of America would have a problem achieving that. And that actually happened recently with a couple of big banks in this country. The difference is that the federal government bailed those banks out. And like, the FDIC, right, came in and like guaranteed those people's money to a certain extent, to a certain limit. So with NovaTech, it's not FDIC insured, so they had to go and try to quickly cash out these people in Canada to give them all their money back. And my understanding is that they were doing that. And NovaTech communicated with us and said, hey, this is what's happening. It's slowing us down. So for the rest of you guys, your returns, they're still being calculated, but they're going to be delayed, whatnot. So that went on for a while. Well, then the next phase of that was that, well, now, again, my understanding was that NovaTech, I guess I would say, it was like under scrutiny by the federal government and just by people, I guess it's the SEC and those who regulate this whole new cryptocurrency market. And so that was yet another delay. It's like, okay, well, now you can only take X amount of money out, because of, I guess they were having to, I don't know if they were still doing the Canada thing or what, but again, my understanding, and I'm not like a senior person in NovaTech. I'm probably like equivalent to you guys. I just happen to share this information with you. Um, but that it was, but basically the platform just got shut down. I mean, the long story short is it just ended up being shut down. Now you can go on to NovaTech and you can see, is your money still there? Yep, it still says whatever amount you had, whatever your balance was, but can you get it out? The answer is no. Right now you can't, it's just frozen, and it's been frozen for months, right? And what I was going to say is that they began to like gradually say, well, okay, you can take out this much, you can take it. They were limiting the amount that you could take out every week or every month or what have you. And so some of us, well, actually some people before that even started happening, I don't know if they had a funny feeling because of the Canada thing, but I got some emails from people that I had shared this information with saying, I just want to get all my money. I think some people took all their money out and were done with it. There were others, including myself, who left their money in because I was like, all right, well, because I kept hearing things from the leaders, the more senior people in this organization saying, no, this has happened before, not just with NovaTech, but with other companies. It will self-correct. Don't worry, you're good. You got to trust in it. It's one of those investment things. And so this is just kind of how it goes. It's a new currency, whatever. And I'm like, all right. So I left my money in. I was taking my weekly earnings, which, by the way, were pretty good for a while. And they helped me definitely get over the hump financially when things were tight. I mean, I was very comfortable. Well, I won't say very comfortable, but I mean, I was certainly made more comfortable by the returns I was getting with NovaTech. So that was encouraging for me. I felt like, all right, well, it's working. It's been working for over a year. So I'm going to believe in this a little bit longer. So where are we now? Where we are now is that there's no activity by NovaTech whatsoever. I haven't heard anything from the company, like on their platform, in a long time, like at least a couple of months. And when I've asked the people, again, these senior people who told me about it initially, they've said, well, let me say this. There have certainly been allegations of like it was completely fraudulent to begin with. These people have now taken all of our money and fled the country, and they're just off doing the next thing. It was a scheme, essentially. If you Google it, you will see that online. Some people may tell you that. Other people, like I said, that I've talked to. So anyway, so that's one side of it. Is that true? Do I know that? I don't know. The other side of it is that some other people I know and some things I've read have said, no, well, this is kind of a common correction. It does happen. Coinbase apparently got shut down at one point. Binance, some other ones, they just shut. And who is they? Like the federal government will suspend operations on these different technologies while they are doing whatever they're doing. They're doing some investigation. They're figuring it out. If you guys know about Ripple, the company Ripple, and they produced the cryptocurrency called XRP, this was years ago. You couldn't trade XRP in this country, maybe not anywhere, I don't know, but certainly not on certain platforms for a couple years. I don't know. I mean, I call it Ripple, but I bought XRP very early on because I liked the utility of that currency. And I'm not big into cryptocurrency, but I was curious about it because I felt like, okay, it's definitely, the world is changing. The global financial system is definitely changing. We're more and more and more going cashless. So I wasn't worried about trying it out. And I put in what I could afford, which wasn't huge money, but over time it did grow. So like with XRP, Ripple, my money was just out there for a long time and I couldn't get to it. And just recently, you may know, so this company Ripple and the SEC had a lawsuit, right? The SEC filed against Ripple saying, you're not legitimate, same kind of thing. Well, eventually the court ruled in favor of Ripple, of the company, saying that they're not doing anything fraudulent. This is not, suspicious, whatever, and that they are, in fact, a currency. They're not a security. The real deal is that they were not a security, because if something is deemed to be a security, the SEC has all kinds of regulations, and it's a very different type of an animal, much more complex than if it's just an asset, I think. Now, I'm not a finance person, but that's my understanding. In any event, this company Ripple won that lawsuit. And right after that happened, poof, the accounts were open again. I could get my money out, which I did. I took my money out. And that was that. Then there was another cryptocurrency right after that where the same thing happened. I don't remember the name of that particular cryptocurrency because I wasn't invested in it. And so I wasn't as knowledgeable about that one. But the same thing happened where the SEC had been in a lawsuit with this company and the court ruled in favor of the cryptocurrency. Oh, hi, John. Hi, I got a new member, you guys, just like that. That's so awesome. Thank you. Hi, John. Nice to have you here. Um, so I'm just sharing with you my kind of superficial level. Like I said, I don't do deep dives into this stuff. It's not my field. Plus, I just have so much other stuff. I mean, look at me. I'm busy with all kinds of things. I'm a mom. I'm working. I'm doing life like everybody else. And so, I've tried a few of these different platforms just because I'm curious. And I figure, hey, if it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm not investing anything that's going to heavily change my life. But I will say that with NovaTech, because I kept investing more and more, and my returns were growing, that compounding effect that happens, I had a pretty comfortable sum in there, which frankly I would love to have now because I could use it to pay some bills or whatever. But I can't get it. And I don't think that while the money is sitting in there that we are gaining interest on that. I mean, that's the thing. This is not like a typical bank account. I guess you could say it's like the stock market. And I had people tell me, oh, why would you invest in that? You should stick with the stock market. Well, let me tell you something. The returns that NovaTech was offering killed the stock market. There was no way. I mean, the stock, it was like, 12%, 13%. I mean, huge returns on a monthly basis. I think it was like 4% per week or something, like just phenomenal returns. Well, that's the reward side of that type of investment. The risk side, and there's always two sides. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. It's nice to be here for a moment. I haven't been online for so long. So there's risk and reward to everything, all right? And that's when they say to investors, not just with this kind of stuff, but any type of investment. In fact, I'm a lawyer, in case you guys don't know. I was reading over an investment document for someone, colleague of mine, for people to invest in a feature film. And on this document, it says all kinds of things about be aware there's risks, be aware, like there's no guarantee you're going to get a return. You could lose your money. Bold letters, like it's a big, you have to know that if you play this game, you could win big, but you could also lose. You could lose everything. You could lose something. Maybe you win a little bit, but you don't gain a huge amount. I mean, you just never know, right? It's just a wild ride and you take your chances. And like I said, for a while, it was great for me. And now my money's just sitting there suspended. But I'm telling you this, I wanted to come on and share this information with you guys because some of you may have heard about NovaTech through me and made an investment because I suggested it, and maybe it was good for you for a while, maybe, like, I don't know what your returns were, but I also felt a responsibility to come back on and let you know what I know about what's happening right now. Can I say for sure it's fraudulent and these were bad people from the beginning? No, I really don't know. I never met these people. I watched the videos that were on the website. I read about them. I read good and I read bad. I looked at different videos about them from other people. So I did some research. I certainly talked to people and I felt comfortable certainly investing my own money. And I also felt comfortable enough to share it with my YouTube audience. But there is also the risk part. And I'm as caught up in the risk as anybody else. I mean, if any of you still had money left in NovaTech, me too. Okay. But as I said, I wanted to at least come on and be like accountable for the fact that I shared this with you and let you know as much as I know at this point. I don't have any other information. So is it something that's going to like play out eventually and then we'll all get our money back? I hope so. Obviously, I hope so, but I don't know. And even if it does happen, like when can we predict when? I have no clue. But my understanding was that they were actually cashing out those people in Canada. So that sounds like good news, but beyond that, I can't tell you. So I hope that's helpful for you guys who may still have money with NovaTech. I wish I could give you some news that says, hey, it's about to lift and you're going to get your money back or whatever. But oh my gosh, John, you are fantastic. Thank you. So nice of you. I really, really appreciate that. So yeah, I can't give you anything beyond that. I just wanted to come on and like kind of do an acknowledgement video and just share with you the little bit that I do know. And I will tell you, the one woman I spoke with, you may remember her. Her name is Charisma, and I've known her for at least a year before we even did this video. We talked about a bunch of other things together, and she does very well in business and all that stuff. And I didn't have any sense that she was not trustworthy. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have someone come on and like promote something if I didn't feel that they're trustworthy. My nose is like tickling. And so I asked her about it, and that's when she's like, Kelly, this has happened before. It happened, and she said it happened to her with Coinbase. And Coinbase is a huge platform. It's like, I think it's the primary crypto trading platform. She said at one point her assets were frozen in Coinbase. Like I said, my Ripple stock, or not stock, but currency was also frozen on Coinbase for a while. The platform itself wasn't frozen, but the Ripple trading, you could not trade Ripple on Coinbase for a long time. She was saying, I think, that Coinbase entirely was frozen and then some other platform, I don't know. So it does happen. And I will say this about cryptocurrency in general. I absolutely believe that that new economy, this new digital economy is here to stay. There's no doubt about that. The blockchain is revolutionary, and I think that's part of the problem. What I mean by that is that there are entities like governments, countries, the major players, the people we'd never heard of, the silent, like super wealthy, who are probably freaked out by the fact that people like you and me, just the regular old people, can now do business unregulated. We don't have to have anybody telling us what to do or monitoring what we spend and where. They can't tax it, right? And so they're freaking out. And so lots of governments, and you hear on the news, oh, it's volatile and all that stuff. Well, it is volatile to an extent, but so is the stock market, and that's been around forever. So is real estate, right? I mean, the market goes up and down. So volatility is not necessarily a bad thing, but it does happen, and certainly with a new technology like this. However, while they've been telling everybody it's bad, 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 stay away, governments have been buying up massive quantities of Bitcoin, like JP Morgan and these different banks and everything. Countries, right? They're buying up massive amounts of these cryptocurrencies. Countries like, countries in Africa, it's, if you do any reading about this stuff, you will see that while on the one hand, they're saying it's bad, don't get it. On the other hand, they're getting it for themselves. What does that tell you, right? Why would they want us not to have it? Maybe so they can have it all, right? Like, again, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but it seems a little odd to me. And so I would not be surprised if the real fraudulence is on the part of those major players like that. And to keep the rest of us basically like oppressed financially in this rat race thing, as long as we keep on this hamster wheel, then we're doing the job for somebody else. And I have no interest in doing that. I mean, we can get into a whole nother conversation about, how you can live your life. And you guys, if you've watched my videos at all for a long time, you know that free island girl, I mean, I was living that free life and it was fantastic. I'm in a transitional period now, doing something different. But in any event, I don't think that cryptocurrency is a bad thing. I don't think it's some scam, fraudulent thing that people are, getting into. I do think that there's some currencies that are more reliable than others, more stable. Like Bitcoin is the gold standard. I don't think if you own Bitcoin, that's going to go belly up at any point. Some of the smaller, like altcoins, I don't know about those. I think you have to do your research. Like if you really know about this stuff, hey, do what feels right for you. But otherwise, I would say I think you just have to hold on for the ride. Just like with the advent of other technologies, at first people were like, what? Makes no sense. But now we fly in planes, we talk on cell phones, we watch TV, there's all these things that at one point seemed ridiculous and preposterous and even suspect. So you guys have to make your own decisions about that. But again, I just wanted to come on and share this information with you to let you know, at least as far as I know, what's happening with NovaTech. Okay. Oh, here's one more thing. And I'll put this in the link below once I end this video. I did see online, there is a petition that's going around by an organization called Color of Change. You may have heard about them before, just with they do like different activist kinds of activities. And they are actually filing I think they're trying to get together to file a class action suit against NovaTech, alleging fraud. Now, again, I don't know if there's actual fraud, I don't know. But if you're interested in signing the petition, I will put that on in the description box below once I end this and I have a chance to do that. Again, I'm not suggesting that that's what's happening. I don't know. I'm just telling you guys, I don't know. Okay, that's all I have for tonight. Mwah. Thank you for checking in. John Farrow, nice to have you here. And Hugh Davis, hi Hugh. Yeah, that's all I have. Maybe else. One last thing, I will say this, and I can't guarantee it because I came on once before a couple months ago. I was like, I think I'm gonna start coming back doing videos again, and then I really didn't because I felt like everybody just wants to see palm trees and stuff, and that's not my life anymore. But maybe I will, maybe I'll do some updates from time to time just about life in general, my thoughts and whatnot. So stay tuned. All right, you guys, everyone take care. Bye.